Okay, hello everyone. Hope you all are having a great weekend. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. This is a project I've been working on. What it is, it's a live system that will allow you to debootstrap Beowulf onto your hard drive without having to create extra partitions. If you just wanted to use the partitions that you have on your computer without having to create even more just to try debootstrapping Beowulf, you can do it. This will allow you to do it from this live CD. It's an ISO. You can't install this ISO. Well, I guess you could if you installed the Refracta installer in the live session. I installed Simple Screen Recorder in this live session to do the video. But this is a basic little welcome screen, a text file, just to give you some information. That's what you'll be greeted with after booting into the desktop. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Let's get into it. Down here on the bottom panel, you have your debootstrap instructions, a terminal, Gparted, live keyboard layout. So if you don't use English US, you can click on that, choose your keyboard layout, hit OK, and close it, and it'll temporarily adopt your keyboard layout in this live session. The Conman UI setup is right here. Click on that. You can connect to your wireless network and a shutdown utility, and that's basically it. So here we go. Let's open up the instructions. And step one, you want to use Gparted, or you can use CFdisk if you want. I'm going to use Gparted just so it'll be a little easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put these instructions out of the way for now and go ahead and open Gparted. And I'm going to repartition my hard drive to include, as you see, I just have one large root partition and a swap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to create a new one. I have 188,000, so I will do 90,000 for the root, and ext4, and I'm going to label that as root. Add it, and this is going to be the new home partition, the remaining amount of space, ext4, and I will label it home. Add that and apply the changes. Now this is on actual hardware. I'm not doing this in VirtualBox. I haven't tried it in VirtualBox, so I don't know how well it'll work. I do have the a kernel. This is actually an ASCII system, but I have the backported kernel, which is a 4.19 kernel. So you should be able to just if you try this in VirtualBox, just log out of this live system and log back in, and you should be able to go full screen with no problem. Alright, and if you do that, the username is Miyo and the password is Miyo. That's finished, so let's make sure what our partitions are designated as. SDA1 is root, SDA2 is home, SDA3 is swap. Now I left that alone. I'm about to totally redo it anyway when we activate the swap partition. Alright, let's open up our instructions, and I think first what I like to do is resize the terminal first, because as you see it can be a little jerky when you're trying to adjust the size. Alright, I'll leave it right there. And let's see how I can do on these instructions here. Alright, I think I'm okay with that. Alright, we have partitioned our hard drive. Now, let's see. First thing after that, we're going to enter su, and the root password is Miyo. Alright, so enter su, password Miyo, and we're going to activate that swap partition. And this right here is going to totally wipe it and recreate it. And we will sync it. I'm not going to copy 4 letters and paste them in. I'll just type it, and we will turn swap on. And again, I mentioned in the instructions, you make sure to use your partition designations. They may not be the same as what I'm using in the example. Alright? Alright, so swap is now on. Now we're going to create directories and mount the new ext4 root partition. First we're going to make the directory. Now we're going to mount the root partition. Now mine was SDA1, yours might be different, so make sure to use your correct designation. And this is the root partition, okay? Oops, I just did the same. Oh no, I've got, here I need to do mount. Mount dev SDA1. Okay. Not sure what happened there. Okay, now we're going to make a directory for the home partition that we created. Alright, and now we're going to mount the home partition. Okay, now everything is mounted. We're going to begin the actual debootstrap. And I'm using i386. This is the old Sony Vaio. So I'm using the i386 Arch. And speaking of Arch, I think I mentioned this already, but Esnix, he coined a new phrase, I installed Devuan the Arch way. And that's basically what you're doing. If you do this, you're basically doing an Arch installation of Devuan. So this takes quite a while. This step takes a while, so be patient. It takes about 10 minutes for my internet speed, 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video while this is finishing up, and I'll come back when it's finished, okay? I will be back shortly. Okay, we're back. As you can see, the base system was installed successfully, so that's always a good thing. Okay, now we're going to mount and bind host directories and then enter chroot. So just copy and paste. Enter. do want to point out, I hope you will stay around until toward the end of the video, because I'm going to try to explain a few things to prepare you for what you might encounter by doing an installation of Beowulf. Because Beowulf is not yet ready, there are still some issues you may come across. And now the chroot command. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is create an fstab file. Got to have that. So to find out the fstab, you're going to need your UUIDs. You can use labels. I can't cover everything possible, so I'm going to use the UUIDs. Alright, so to find the UUIDs of your partitions, we use the LXQt command. Alright, now if you'll scroll down right here, copy the UUIDs that were produced with that command up here in the terminal and paste them in over these UUIDs. If you didn't create a home partition, just go ahead and delete this line, because what we put in here is going to become the fstab file. Okay? So I need to find the one that was root, and I know root was SDA1. Here it is right here, SDA1 root, and copy the UUID, stay within the quotation marks, just copy the number and replace the one down here. Make sure you're replacing the root partition with the root partition number. Okay? That begins with 53, 53, ends with 470. I'm just kind of giving a quick glance to make sure I'm putting in the right one. Alright, now the home partition, SDA2, home. Stay within the quotation marks. Copy it and replace the UUID in the home section here. 5FD, 5FD, and 1A4, 1A4. Alright. And now the swap. SDA3, again, stay within the quotation marks, copy the number, and replace the one that's in this example. 477, 477, 499, 499. Okay. Now we are going to edit the fstab file. So enter this command, and use your arrow key. You see that the number symbol is highlighted up here. If you can see my cursor moving, just hit your down arrow once, and what you want to do is copy this example that contains your actual UUID numbers. Copy it and paste it in. There it is. And now Control X, Y, and enter. And we have our fstab file. Now we're going to edit the sources list if desired, and you probably do desire this, because I will show you, as I did in the other video, you only have one sources list line right now at this time. And there it is right there. You probably want to add updates and security, and you might want to have contrib and non-free included. So I'm using the arrow key. See the cursor moving up there? Using the arrow key, and I'm just going to completely backspace and erase that. And I'm going to scroll down. Now if you don't want non-free and contrib in your sources list, just delete these out in each line before you copy and paste it. I do want them, so I'm going to keep them there and copy this whole section right here. Copy, paste, and the same. Control X on the keyboard, Y, and enter. And now we need to do an apt update because we have changed our sources list. Alright, now we're going to configure the keyboard, locales, and TZ data. So we're going to we're going to install we're going to control what we install. We're going to install a few packages here so that we can do that. Yes, we want that. I think also what I'm going to do, I have the more basic English US. Now here, if you're not familiar with these type of Ncurses windows, just use your arrow keys on your keyboard to move up and down, and that's what I want. So I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit enter. I have the really basic instructions on the MiyoLinux SourceForge site, and I'm probably going to upload these to replace them because these are much more thorough, helps you set up a home partition, and I think it'll just be more helpful to people. Come on, Debootstrap, you can do it! Yeah! Alright, let's reconfigure locales. Just hit enter right here. Again, use your arrow key to scroll down, and I want English US UTF-8. Getting close. There it is right there. Use your space bar to mark it. It puts an asterisk in there to mark it. If you can see that happening on the screen, I'm pressing my space bar over and over just to hopefully allow you to see that it is appearing. Okay, mark that with the space bar and just hit enter. Use the down arrow. I want that to be the default. And now it's generating the locale file. Alright, now we'll configure TZ data. I'm in the US. Move up with the arrow key and hit enter. I want Eastern, and now we'll reconfigure the keyboard configuration. It gave us a basic one a while ago when we entered those or installed those packages, but I like to go ahead and run this one also. And I just always take the defaults, so I just hit enter, 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 enter. Okay, believe it or not, we're actually getting kind of close. Now, configure the host name. Change MiyoLinux to whatever you want your system's host name to be. I actually want to change MiyoLinux to Deboot-Beowulf. Deboot-Beowulf. Deboot and Beowulf mixed. I don't know if I really want that, but I'm going to be stuck with it now. Deboot-Beowulf. Alright, now we're going to create a root password, and to do that, we have to install SSH. That MiyoLinux guy's crazy. Yes, I want to do that. I know it's not proper etiquette to laugh at your own jokes, but I do it pretty often. If nobody else finds me funny, I do. Oh. Believe it or not, I was voted wittiest in high school. Wittiest. I really was. Okay. Almost finished. And now just enter this command, password, or passwd. Whoops. I had cursor down there. Passwd. And you won't see what the password is that's being typed in, so make sure and be careful that you're typing in exactly what you want your root password to be. And you'll have to enter it twice. Alright, now we're going to allow root login if desired. You don't have to do this. I always do it. But if you want to, here are the instructions. And what we need to do is scroll down until we find the line that begins with permit root login. So use your arrow keys up here in the terminal to scroll down till we find that line. It's not too far. There it is, right there. Use the arrow key to move to the right, highlight the P and backspace to unmark that line. Remove that hashtag to unmark it. Go over to the right, use backspace to erase, and type in the word yes. Now use Control X, Y, and enter to save it. Alright, now we're going to create the user and the user password. Change Miyo to your desired username, and I do want to change that and use my actual name, so I'm going to type in add user Dan. Alright, new password for Dan. Again, it won't be shown, so make sure you're careful in what you type when you type in your user password, and you will have to enter it twice. Just type it in and hit enter. And now you're given some options of things you might want to fill in. I only fill in this first one, the full name. I use a capital D on my name, Dan. That's it. So hit enter. And I just hit enter to scroll through, just to bypass all that. Is the information correct? Yes. Now you can fill all that stuff in if you want to. That's up to you. Now, do we want to add the user to sudo? Yes, I want to do that. So I'm going to install sudo. Okay, add user. Now I'm not using Mio, so I'm just going to type this in. Add user dan sudo. And I've been added to the sudo group. Okay, we're getting close. Getting closer. Now we're going to install some pertinent packages, including the kernel. I don't know, we might need a kernel. I just don't know. The first command adds standard system utilities. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it does provide some things you might need. So I'm going to install it. And this takes a little bit, so once it gets started, I'm going to pause the video and I will come back when it's over. Alright? So I will be back shortly. Alright, that has installed. So now we're going to install. Now these items here, they can all be installed at one time. I just wanted to separate them here so I could kind of discuss what's going on. Here we are installing the kernel, and if you notice, it's a 686 Pi. If you have a really old computer and you have less than 3 gigabytes of memory, you might want to leave out the -pi. But even though that's my situation, I'm going to go ahead and install that kernel. And also I'm going to install firmware Linux, because that fixes a lot of screen resolution issues that I've had in the past. I'm not going to copy that, I'm just going to type it in. However, you need to be aware, if you didn't include non-free in your sources list, firmware Linux will not be installable. I'm also going to install firmware Realtek for my wireless. You'll need to know what firmware you need for your wireless and substitute that. Okay? So I will let that get started. Also, if you didn't include non-free in your sources list, you may not be able to install that firmware, the wireless firmware. Yes, I want to do that. It's going to get 52.5 megabytes out of the archives, which will put in 202 megabytes of additional disk space. So I'm going to pause the video and I will come back in a moment. Be right back. Okay, that's almost finished up. I thought I would go ahead and start a little early before it actually finished, so that I could talk about this next portion where we actually install our desktop. You don't have to install all the packages that you want on your system right now, but you'll want to install a desktop, display manager, you know. And this is the important part that I mentioned earlier, that I hope people would hang around long enough to actually see, because Beowulf still has some issues, especially with pulse audio and PAUV control, or PAVU control. You know, that controller. It has issues with pulse audio. Pulse audio is not working in Beowulf right now. I'm sure they will get it working whenever they release Beowulf, and probably before that. But right now, Pulse Audio is not working, and if you install a straight desktop, it's going to pull in Pulse Audio and PAVU control, and you're not going to have any sound. And I don't know if just removing Pulse Audio and PAVU control is possible without totally removing the desktop. So you might have to jump through some hoops to do that, to get a working desktop. Now, it's not that hard, but if you've never done it, you know, you might have to, if you wanted to install XFCE4, you might just have to install certain components of XFCE4 just in order to not bring in Pulse Audio, because you want to have sound, I'm sure. I know I do. Now we're to the part where we're going to install a desktop environment, a display manager, a network manager, etc., etc. You will need to know what you want to install. If you're unsure what to install, you can search with apt search package name. And let's try that real quick. Apt search. Oh, what's a package I can search for? LXDE. And as you see, it goes through and lists all these packages associated with LXDE. The package name is here in the green lettering, and that will be what you would want to install. However, for the sake of trying to be as helpful as I can, I'm giving an example. I'm going to install the LXQt desktop. Now I want to show you something here. Apt install LXQt. Oh dear, look at all that. Where is it? Where is it? Pulse Audio. It's up here somewhere. There it is. Pulse Audio. And PAVU control is going to be in there somewhere too. So let's try something else. Let's try, no, I don't want to do that because I want to have sound. Let's do LXQt. Let me move my cursor out of the way. Without recommends. And where is, oh, there, PAVU control. Oh dear, Pulse Audio, it's going to pull it in. Oh, there, oh dear. No, we don't want to do that because we want to have sound, right? No. So let's try LXQt core. Apt install LXQt core. Oh dear, there it is again. It's still pulling in Pulse Audio. Oh goodness gracious. PAVU, oh PAVU control. We're not going to have any sound. No, I don't want to do that. So let's try LXQt core. No install recommends. Okay, where is it? Where is it? LP. Oh, no Pulse Audio getting pulled in with that command. Alright, so we're going to install that. But first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit no. Because the first thing I'm going to do is apt install Xorg and Slim as my display manager. Now, I do know Slim, LXDM, and SDDM, and I would recommend, if you wanted to install LXDM or SDDM, I would recommend doing those with the no install recommends flag added onto the command. I did receive a report that LightDM is now working in Beowulf, but I haven't tried it, so I can't attest to that myself. I know Slim works good. I like Slim, so that's what I'm going to install. So I'm going to install Xorg and Slim to begin with. And I'm going to hit Y, or hit enter. Y is already capitalized, so I can just hit enter. Yes, I want it to do that. And while this is installing, I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back when it's finished. Alright, Xorg and Slim are now installed, and now I'm going to do LXQt core and OpenBox, both with no install recommends. You can install OpenBox, without using this no install recommends. I'm choosing no install recommends on it because it will pull in some things that I just don't need. It doesn't pull in much anyway, but it does pull in some things that I don't need on LXQt. I need it for the window manager. If you just install LXQt core with no install recommends, it won't automatically pull in OpenBox as your window manager. So that's why you need to install it. Okay. Now, while these are installing, I'm going to go over the other packages that I'm going to install. After that finishes, I'm going to install LXQt Power Management. That's mainly for laptops. Also utils, because I want sound. And since Pulse Audio is not working, I will install also utils. Featherpad is a nice lightweight Qt based text editor. GVFS, I need that for mounting USBs and other partitions if so needed. Alright, Breeze Icon theme, the Breeze GTK theme. I'm going to try and keep this as much of a Qt system as I can, but I realize there's going to be some situations where I might have to use a GTK application. So I'm going to get that GTK theme that uses Breeze. The Breeze cursor theme. Oxygen cursors. I like the oxygen cursors. Lots of cursors to choose from there. KDE style Breeze Qt4. That's widgets. The Adwaita Qt version. That will give you Adwaita and Adwaita Dark in Qt, which is actually what I like using. I'm going to go ahead and get the Numix icon theme circle, which will pull in Numix icon theme, the Papyrus icon theme. Now here's one reason I did not install OpenBox by itself. I used the no install recommends. It would have pulled in obconf, the GTK version. I want the Qt version, so I'm going to use obconf Qt so I can change the window title bar. QMMP is a very nice lightweight Qt based music player, and it's very ugly when it's when you first open it. It has that, if you remember Winamp, it has a Winamp look, but there is a way to change that, very simple, and makes it look a lot like Audacious. Audacious in Jesse or well, was it in Jesse or just in ASCII? Had a Qt interface, but it's not in Beowulf right now. UFW for a firewall. LXQt is an image viewer and a screenshot utility. Synaptic. I'm installing Synaptic. I have tried Muon. Muon is the Synaptic-like Qt package manager or package installer, and I just don't like Muon. I'm sorry. I'm going to sacrifice Qt for Synaptic in this case. Compton.conf for shadows, you know, fading and stuff like that. That's the Qt interface, Compton.conf. Xserver Zorg input synaptics for controlling the touchpad. Tar zip unzip. Out menu Qt is an application launcher that uses to open it, you use the Alt F2 key combination on your keyboard, and it opens an application launcher up here at the top. And everyone knows what Simple Screen Recorder is. And finally, CMST. That is the Qt version of the Conman UI, and I've actually been including CMST in MiyoLinux for quite some time now. I think it's an absolutely great network manager, and since I haven't tried Network Manager or Wicked in Beowulf, I do know that CMST works, so that's what I'm going to install. Alright, so let's install all those packages, and after this gets started, I will once again pause the video. We're almost finished, guys. Almost finished. Yes, I want to do that. Yes. Alright, let me pause it. I'll be right back. Alright, all that has finished installing, and we are almost finished. I know I keep saying that, but we really are almost finished. The next thing we need to do is, now you could actually do this step earlier, you don't have to do it at this point, but this is the way I do it. We need to edit our network interfaces file, so I'm going to paste this command in. And I'm going to use the arrow key up here in the terminal to scroll down. I'm going to comment out that line. Use the arrow key to go down one place and copy in this information right here. Alright, and use Control X, Y, Enter to save it. Okay, now we're going to install Grub. This is BIOS, and as I say here, if you need a UEFI Grub for 32-bit, you'll need to know what package needs to be installed for the Grub, because I have never needed it and I don't know what to tell you to install. Alright, apt install grub PC, enter. Now, I do want to point out, maybe I should add something before this. This is going to give you that ugly blue and black grub screen that Debian uses, and it is ugly. If you want a nice looking grub screen, you would need to install, I'll just write it right here temporarily, desktop base. You would need to install that package, desktop base. However, Devuan has not replaced the desktop base yet, and it's going to give you Debian. It's going to be all Debian logos and stuff. So that's up to you if you want to do it. I guess when Beowulf becomes stable, or before that point, Devuan will replace that, and you'll get the Devuan based logos and stuff eventually. But right now it's going to be Debian. So that's up to you. If you want a nice looking grub screen and you're not sure how to change it yourself, you can install that package right there. But I'm not going to. Because I know how to change it. I should have been saying all that after I hit enter on the computer keyboard, so that all this could have been going on while I was running my mouth. It doesn't take too long though. Alright, you get some information here. Read over it if you want to, and use your tab key to highlight OK and hit enter. And now you need to mark. You can put it. If you're doing this on the MBR, you want to put it on SDA. If you put it on SDA1, to be honest, I don't know if it'll boot or not. It might, but I like to put it on SDA. Alright, hit tab to highlight OK and hit enter. And look, we're almost finished. Exit chroot and unmount everything. Hooray! Come on, Debootstrap, you can do it. Alright, Grub has been installed, and now we're ready to exit chroot. So just write or type in exit, and now we're going to unmount everything. Just copy and paste. Each one at a time. Hitting enter after each time we paste it in. And the last one. And we are finished. We can now exit the terminal. That will take us out of Sue. Exit the terminal. Now I do have this one extra step. If you install this onto a separate partition where you're dual booting or multi-booting, you would need to run update grub on your main system so that you can choose it in the grub screen. Alright, but that's it. Now what I'm going to do, no, I don't need to save those changes. Yeah, I'm going to save them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to transfer all these videos over to a USB, and I've got some things I need to take care of. So it's going to be a while before I can actually reboot back into the newly installed system. But what I will promise is I will begin videoing on the freshly installed system, and I will go over just some basic things of, you know, getting it looking a little nicer. Alright, so there you go, guys. I hope that's helpful. and I hope to have the ISOs released soon. This was the 32-bit, it's finished, and I hope to do the 64-bit soon. So you guys have a great weekend, take care, and I will see you back. For you, it will be in just a moment. For me, it's going to be a little while. Alright, take care, thanks. I am back, and I have to confess that I did do one configuration after this initial reboot. This is the first boot into the system after doing the debootstrap. And I also want to apologize. I know that now you're probably hearing a hum in the background, and I do apologize. I had to do one configuration, and I added one package to make sure it was working. I added VLC after I rebooted it into the system, and I made a change here to the volume control. So let me show you what I changed. This was set out of the box on Pulse Audio, so I clicked over here on ALSA, and this I changed. It was on PAVU control -QT. I changed that to Q terminal -E ALSA mixer, so that the ALSA mixer would open up in the terminal. So let me show you what that looks like. And I know things don't look nice right now, and that's on purpose. Let me right click on that. No, I didn't want to. Let me left click on it, open the mixer, and here we have the ALSA mixer. Now I want to show you one thing. Use the arrow keys. If you notice right here, this master, that's the one that's highlighted. The letters are in red. Use your arrow keys on your keyboard to go over, and right here auto mute is enabled. That means every time you reboot your computer, your volume is going to be muted. So just use your down arrow key, press on it one time to disable that. Alright. Yes, I want to exit, and stop asking me. Alright, so things look a little funky right now. This is the first boot into the system. I'm running simple screen recorder. So let's set up a few things. Let me go over the menu. We included FeatherPad, if you recall. PCMan FMQT came in automatically, and there's the Compton that we installed, Compton-conf, LX image, and the screenshot utility. Internet, I meant to install Falcon, but I forgot, so I'll install that later. Sound and video, QMMP, that's the audio player, simple screen recorder, and VLC, which I just installed. Let me go ahead and fix QMMP. Ooh, there's the default look. Just right click over here on the interface, come to settings, and down here on plugins, scroll all the way down, user interfaces. I want the simple user interface, so I'm going to click that, close it, and now I'm going to close QMMP and reopen it. And there's the more where I mentioned it looked a little more like Audacious. Much easier for me to work with personally. If you like the Winamp look, don't do what I just did. Alright, let's do some basic configuration. And when I say configuration, I mean how it looks. Alright, we have no icons right now. Let me open up PCMan QT so you can see that too. Oh dear. So let's fix that. Alright, QT style, I want Adwaita dark. I want to set the GTK theme as breeze. I'll do breeze dark. Icon theme, we have Numix circle, Papyrus and Papyrus dark, and the breeze icons. I'm going to go with Papyrus dark. The LXQt theme, I'm going to go with system, and that's going to end up being a dark theme right there. And the cursor, right now it started like this with the breeze cursor. I'm going to go down to oxygen white and apply that, and it automatically took. Alright, so there we have a few of the items are showing up. Now it's going to take a log out and a log back in for everything, like the volume icon to show up, blah blah blah. Anything else I want to mess with out of the box just to show you? I really can't think of anything right now. Oh, let me fix this. I don't have my little icon showing down here, so let me configure that. I want to fix that icon. And as you see, I don't know if you can see it, it's already showing up now. I'm going to do a button text. Instead of start, it will say menu. Okay, I'll close that. I'm going to configure the panel to make it look a little larger. And I'm going to make the, let's see, I'm going to leave all that alone right now. Let's see, where is the icon? There's the icon size. I'm going to increase that slightly up to 25. I think if I go over 25, well, never mind. I'm going to leave it on 25 right now. I don't like how big the what are these called? Task manager windows are. So I'm going to change those to 200. Close that. Anything else I want to do? I'll drop a couple of applications in. Now this is going to get fixed after I log out and log back in. Let's see, QMMP, I'm going to add that. Ooh, it gave that icon. And let me do my terminal. Oh dear, look how that did. Okay. So I'm going to pause the video or save it. I'm going to log out and log back in, and things should look a little better. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to reboot. It wasn't allowing me to use my USB microphone after just a log out and a log in, so I had to reboot. and now everything's working fine. You can see the items that I added onto the launchers here. We now have icons in our menu. Let's open up PCman FMQT. We now have icons. So there you go. Debootstrap installation of Beowulf using LXQt as the desktop. And we do have sound, so I couldn't be recording this video and you hearing me if we didn't have sound. Let's see if we can change this wallpaper here. Go to root, user, share, LXQt, themes. Let's see what ambience, the butterfly. Let's go back to themes, dark. That's the kind of KDE looking wallpaper. Frost. That's the one I think that's the one we're using right now. Light. I will go with that one and apply it. Okay. So there we go, guys. Hopefully the ISOs will be uploaded soon, and I hope this helped. I am going to go ahead and replace the current instructions on the MiyoLinux site on SourceForge, and you can use them, I guess, to install onto another partition, but until I release the ISOs you won't be able to actually overwrite your hard drive. So after stating that, I might just wait to replace the instructions. I don't know. I'll decide once everything is uploaded to YouTube. So you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and you guys take care. Thanks.